Hello, welcome to Coffee and Christ. This is your host, Lydia Lee, and my co-host, Carlie Golden.
Hey, guys.
All right, well, today we have our girlfriends on the episode. We have them on the pod here. They nailed that introduction, didn't they, Ben?
Yeah, it was so good. Also, me and Sean are sharing a mic, so, we're going to be, cheek to cheek for this whole podcast.
Yeah.
I really wish this was going on YouTube.
Bro, that would be awesome. Maybe we should do another one where we do the
We'll have to have them back on.
Yeah, we can do multiple episodes.
Okay.
It's not a one-time thing, I'm guessing, with you two.
There's plenty of content to be had.
Well,
okay, so
drag us out here once a month.
Oh my gosh.
We got to get to a point where we
That's
get
what the Biblical Femininity podcast is about.
Yeah, it's literally about belittling women.
Okay.
We're going to try to get Andrew Tate to come on.
Okay, well, in front of me, we have Carlie Golden, who was a soccer player for Redlands Community College. She went to El Reno High School. She's a student there. She also works at Johnny's, what is it?
Hamburgers and Conies.
Hamburgers and Conies.
In El Reno.
In El Ghetto, in El Reno.
Yep.
And she also are you an RA, right, for Redlands?
Yeah.
Yes, and she is...
One of my many jobs.
Yes, one of your many jobs. So she is also Benny Boy here's girlfriend. So.
Yeah, and so since Sean so kindly introduced my girlfriend, I'm going to introduce his. Except for I know far less about his, so we're going to get rolling here. Lydia is a person. Wow. She is a adult female.
Sounds like I'm
went skiing.
like my jail bio.
Age, height, weight.
I went skiing with her one time. She's mid.
Whoa.
She has somehow pulled an absolute 10 out of 10. I'm very impressed with that. So, she seems to have a pretty decent personality, but it's still impressive.
Wow, that was a glowing introduction.
You're so welcome. Also, her little brother's awesome. He's great.
Look, Lee, if you listen to this,
yeah, shout out. Shout out. For real, though.
Low key though. Okay, well, thank you, Sharon Baptist Church, for letting us create a makeshift studio here. If you want to come hear me preach every now and then, look up Sharon Baptist Church on Google Maps. We're on the northeast side of Chickasha. Service times, I think our main service is at 10:45 is supposed to start. We don't normally start on time because of old people.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And then our Sunday school is at 9:30 or 9:45 actually. And if you visit us and you find me and you're like, hey, I listen to your podcast, I'll be like, okay, you want to come see the podcast room? And you get to see this glorious room that we're recording in.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
It's magnificent.
There's going to be plants eventually.
Eventually, there will be plants. Hey. We're not even going to talk about the sign that we just got. It's just plants, fake plants.
They're going to be like, hey, I don't know what you look like, but I hear your voice.
Yeah, I know. They identify the voice. That's what it is.
They're going to be like, you're that idiot.
I need to hear you talk, please, sir. Okay.
Okay.
That's what they do. It's around the greeting time. It's like...
Can you say the intro of this podcast real quick?
Yeah. I want you to hear these.
Can you say Coffee in Christ, please?
Yes. Hello and welcome to Coffee in Christ. Okay, we also want to thank our sponsor for today's video, Jason Baker. He's with Downtown Realty Group, Christian Oklahoma Realtor. If you're in the market to buy a house and you want to support a fellow brother in the faith, call him up 405-313-6700. All right, so Ben, our coffee.
Oh, dude. So I got Sean to try this coffee from Viridian in Chickasha. So it's called Butterbeer. It is I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah, creamy. It has nutmeg.
Some cinnamon.
Yeah, some nutmeg, some cinnamon. It so hits the spot. It's amazing. It's the cold one's even better though. Oh, really? I'm dead serious.
I needed a warm one though.
Why didn't you tell me to get cold?
Well, because I wanted hot. But
yeah, so Carlie, at the point of this recording, it's going to be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Whenever we had Tanner on the podcast, but Carlie was kind enough to go in between episodes and go get us some coffee. So shout out to her.
Yes.
Thanks to Carlie.
She's amazing. She's the best. Nice. But, we had to use our bougie podcast card.
Yeah, I mean, when you get big time like us, you kind of get...
Yeah, you get them fancy benefits. My banker, I wanted to tell you guys this on the podcast. My banker, not for my actual bank, but for for the podcast, called me on my birthday to wish me a happy birthday.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even tell him happy birthday.
I answer the phone and I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, we see it's your birthday today. We just want to wish you a blessed day and wise financial spendings.
I get an email.
I said, thank you. I was like, it's so nice of you to call, blah, blah, blah. That's cool, whatever. And I was like, bye. And I was like, my grandparents haven't even called me today.
Yo.
Baker did.
Sean, you didn't wish your co-host a happy birthday?
Wow.
No, I'm a bad co-host.
Slacking.
Yo, I'm really sorry to burst your bubble, but I definitely paid for coffee today.
Oh, you
I
didn't use
didn't
our
use
card?
your card.
Why?
Wow.
Because you paid for my breakfast this morning.
But that's
Kind of what his job is.
That's kind of my job. Yeah.
But Sean, like you said, I'm an independent woman.
Okay, what about y'all girls' coffee? What are y'all drinking? What's your poison?
I've got nothing.
You've got Dr. Pepper. Is what
I got
you know.
water right now.
I love Dr. Pepper.
I've had 3 cups of coffee, so now I'm drinking water so I don't shake.
Carlie got the old Ben Horton special. My favorite. One of my favorite coffee.
Go on, tell us
His
about it, Carlie.
go-to is a hot, always hot for some reason because he's weird, white chocolate mocha, and he's recently been putting coconut in it.
It's so good.
Oof.
And I just decided to do that when I went to Viridian. I was like, yeah, let's just do that. Just
It's the best.
basic.
It's so good. Oh, okay, guys. We actually have some topics to introduce here.
Oh, yep. Let me get to our.
Yeah. What are you talking about,
It's
Sean?
all the dome. It's all the dome.
Sean, am I talking loud enough?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I'm scared I'm going to talk too loud. I'm going to
No, it's fine. I
into
turned
the
your
mic.
expander
Your
up.
expander's up, so you'll be fine. You talk
Okay.
as loud as you want, young lady.
Don't yell.
Young
We'll break
lady,
their
I'm older than
eardrums,
you,
but-
Ben.
You. Okay.
I literally am.
Maybe physically, but spiritually.
Okay, we want our listeners to hear a little bit about our girlfriends here. So,
Okay.
which one do you want to go first?
Okay, guys. Eeny,
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Let's let Lydia go
Why
first.
has Ben picking on me today?
So
Wow.
what we want you to
Don't
share.
pick on me. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
what we want you to share is your church experience growing up, and then just a little bit of your testimony, how you
Do you
came.
remember when you threw snow on me while we were skiing?
I have no recollection of that.
She probably.
I would give you a high five.
Okay, so my family has gone to FBC Chickasha, which is a Southern Baptist church, my entire life. I'm super thankful to have parents that have built me up in the faith and pointed me to Jesus. When I was in grade school, I came to an understanding of my sin and put my faith and trust in Jesus. And there's been a lot of sanctification since then. But in short, that is how I came to know the Lord.
Booyah. All right, well, Carlie Golden. We're up. Let's hear a little bit about your church experience, growing up, and a little bit of how you came to Christ.
It's kind of all over the place. So I was never really like tied down to one church, you could say. Growing up, we went to Mustang United Methodist when I was little, and then about first grade started going to this little church on the hill, Red Rock United Methodist, out by Calumet, and started doing that, going to youth at Calumet United Methodist. So was around it a lot. Methodist church was just the only thing I knew. Didn't really think about anything else. And then college hit, and I had to live in El Reno, so I was just like, yeah, I'll try First Baptist, see what it's like. You want to talk about a culture shock? It's very different. I was like, the first day I came in, I was like, where are the hymnals? Like,
Oh yeah, that's one thing Methodists are good.
where are the
They put
wooden
hymns.
pews?
Yeah,
Methodists have pretty churches.
yeah, they do. They do that really well.
It's like very big, had a band. I was like, oh, so it's like church camp. No. No,
then-
way off base there.
Us Baptists, we like to go with a more modern look, which is we should go
Traditional.
traditional. Yes. Okay, continue, Carlie.
But started doing that. I'd say wasn't really into like researching like theology and all the sanctification, like those big fancy words that I never use day-to-day vocabulary in. But just started to grow my own faith. It was about I hit 6th grade, and I realized I was just like, you know what? I like this church camp stuff. Like, this is really cool. Like, I want to start learning more about this stuff. And I went on a mission trip with with Calumet in South Dakota. And I'd say, like in y'all's previous episode, y'all talked about the sprinkling and all that stuff on baptism. And
Yes.
that did happen to me at Mustang, but then went to, I guess, got my actual baptism on that mission trip in 6th grade. And so just been doing great, I guess.
Yeah.
Been trying to learn.
When was that point where you started really like trying, like growing in your knowledge of theology? Was it kind of like
in theology?
like really started to see your real growth in your sanctification process?
College.
Yeah.
Because high school, I was just getting by, I guess. And then college, and really when Ben started talking about it.
That's what I was looking for.
I know. I wasn't going to say
"Oh,
I did it all by myself because I didn't. That would be a lie.
There's this guy in your life who kind of has his podcast. I don't know what it's about.
I don't know. It's kind of pretty base, but
It's kind of cool.
You're teaching me all the big fancy words.
like pedobaptism, cradobaptism, and
Post-millennialism is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Delusionalism. I mean Calvinism. Sorry.
Oh, whatever.
Same thing.
You mean truth?
Yeah, didn't know
We don't
what
need to
that
do
was.
So okay, well we got to hear a little bit about our girlfriends, their kind of experiences growing up. So you kind of got a little introduction to them. Introduction.
Good enunciation.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna share the stories of our first date. So Lydia, you feel good to kind of share your side of the
Your
story of our
POV?
first date?
Yes, sure. So Sean and I went to high school together, and Sean sat behind me all through sophomore biology, and I don't think we talked at all that year for like a whole year.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, he DM'd me.
Oh
My
my
DMs.
gosh.
We love that.
Then what?
No, hold on. Do you remember what it actually was?
You said like your phone messed up.
Yeah,
and
it
you
actually
liked.
was. It actually was, and it it was like
Believable,
busted.
right?
Like the screen was all black and stuff, and it would like randomly like click on things sometimes, and it just wigged out.
Likely story.
I won't lie. I was kind of stalking your Instagram, and then it just
Whoa.
like liked one. I was like, oh, this is weird. So
Then I don't think he stopped texting me since.
yeah.
Wait a second. Sean, did you have a thing for her from the start? Did you sit there quietly behind her, like staring at the back of her head for months?
She has pretty hair.
Whoa! The podcast. Long hair is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it was not that weird, but anyway.
I would just win the cahoots in sophomore
I was just so
biology.
Look at your
Yeah, I
answers
was
like,
so
ooh, she's
attracted.
smart.
Yeah.
He said, that Kahoot knowledge goes crazy.
Yeah, so anyways, I DM'd you. So continue from there.
Yes. So we probably messaged back and forth a couple weeks. And then he messaged me and was like, do you want to go out to lunch sometime? And I was like, I was asking my parents or something if it was okay, and my little brother stole my phone, and he texted back, no. And so finally, though, I got my phone back and was
I
like,
won't lie, guys. Whenever I got that text message, I was like, this girl is mean.
it was just my little brother. And then I was like, sure, we can go out. So I think I'd been talking about J&W because I don't know if I'd never been there or if
No, I hadn't been there, and you had been, and I was like, yeah, let's just go there because I've never been.
that's where we went. And then afterward, for whatever
More
reason,
decisive.
Shut up. Continue, Lydia. Don't mind him.
for whatever reason, then Sean was like, well, let's go to the car wash. And I was like, okay.
Like the drive-through car
Yeah.
wash? Okay.
Yep. He played
Wow.
his music very
Like the
loud
rainbow
and talked
soap.
about his speakers a lot.
That's such a Sean thing to do.
Yeah. So it was.
How many times do you tell me about your truck?
Yeah, but not
Listen,
on the first time we hang out.
The lesson to learn from this story is that you can have a really bad first date and still find love.
Wow. How inspiring.
So, yeah, don't give up. Ladies, second chances are a great word. So
Well, it's what earned Sean his second chance is the fact that, like I said earlier, he's just a solid 10. So
Yeah, don't
I'm
worry.
just too good to.
Lydia said maybe he's weird, but he's nice to look at.
What was our
That's right.
second date?
What was the second date? It was another lunch date because it was like I think it was at
The high school lunch dates are
yeah. Because we had off on like
Yeah.
lunch hour, so it was just another lunch date.
You know what I would like to do for Carlie's? I want Carlie to share her recollection of the first time we hung out, and then I'll give the real one because she totally forgot about something.
So,
it's great.
Like I said before we started recording, I have bad memory. Terrible. Got it from my dad. Like, if you asked me what I did 2 weeks ago, couldn't tell you. Don't remember. Just, I don't think about it. So, what happened was... Ben, I feel like you hate me for this.
No, I think it's funny.
But, you hate when I talk about it because it makes
You're fine.
But, so what happened was I was working a shift and one of our mutual friends had texted me, one of my coworkers, and was just like, hey, do you want to go out and play volleyball out by the lake? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we get off. I'm just like, okay, I kind of just want to take a shower, go to bed. Not ready for this. It's cold. I'm done. I get out of my car. Turns out there's like 7, 8 other guys playing volleyball in the sand. And I was like, oh, I didn't know there were this many people. Especially strangers that I don't know. So I was just like, all right, whatever. So I start walking out there with my buddy Braden, and they all get off the sand and they're talking and everything like that. And all of a sudden one of the guys goes, it's really cold out. And me just, I guess, just trying to be a smart aleck and crack a joke, I was just like, it's not that cold.
I played soccer in the rain one time.
I did. And in snow.
That's what you said.
And in sleet. So every single time someone says it's cold outside, I just think about like my worst possible weather games. And I'm like, it could be worse. So then I said, it's not that cold. And then he goes, well, you haven't been playing out here for 2 hours in the sand barefoot. And I'm like, okay, my bad.
It was raining, so the sand was ice cold.
And I'm just thinking, thinking to
I
myself,
was
I'm like,
there.
okay,
When?
this
My
guy's
birthday.
a jerk.
Like a year ago.
Oh.
Turns out that guy that said that was Ben. So he was the smart aleck that talked back to me. I was like, okay, he's mean. So they had like an ice chest and everything like that. Turns out, didn't realize that it was his birthday party that we were at. And I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I got invited. I don't know who these people are. I kind of knew Sean, like, from walking around and everything like that. Like, I knew his face and stuff. So we went back to his apartment. I got to talking to, I think it was Ethan I got to talking to. And I was like, I like this guy. He's funny. And then later I learned that, like, none of y'all liked him, like, that day. And so then we ended up,
Your roommate?
that whole evening, just everybody kept, like, talking. And then, like, I think Sean, like, left because he wanted to go to bed. Like, he had work the next day or something like that. And then, like,
I get my 9 out.
everybody just kept like trickling out. And then at one point it was just me, Brian, the friend that invited me, and then Ben. And so we were all just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like, Brian was just like, oh yeah, I gotta go too. And so me and Ben ended up, I think, talked until like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Like, saw the sun. And
No, you're waiting the best part.
and then unintentionally, he fell asleep.
You're forgetting the best part, the roof.
Oh yeah, we did go on the roof. I forgot.
Yeah,
The apartment?
During
we went up on
that
the
night,
roof of the Redlands Science
apparently
Building.
there is a way you can access the roof of the science building, and he showed me that, and I was like, this is really cool.
We sat up
I
there
feel like
and
I'm in a
talked.
movie.
Looking at the stars for hours.
It's like when Katniss Everdeen goes out on the roof in Hunger Games.
Yeah, I was like, this is
It
cool.
was dope.
But so then we get back, and unintentionally we both just like fell asleep, and I was like, I woke up and I was like, this is awkward.
Wait, on the roof?
We went back to his
okay.
We were sitting at
apartment.
my apartment talking, and she fell asleep like down at the foot of my bed. And I like legitimately, I wake up like it was like I slept for like an hour.
Yeah.
It was like 6, and I'm in this upright position, not even against the wall, just sitting there. And I was like, wake up, and I was like, where am I? And I was like, I got out of bed, and there was this random person who I talked to the night before, like down towards the foot of my bed. And I was like, I woke her up, and I was like, go home.
I was just like, okay, bye.
It was funny.
That walk back to my apartment was like I was
It was
like,
so
what
weird.
just happened?
We
I was like,
talked-
I
Feels
never,
like a fever dream.
because I was like, I never talked to a random stranger and accidentally fall asleep.
Yeah,
Like,
we
what
were
was
like
that?
mid-conversation, passed out, and then I woke up and I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" I was like, "Get out of my apartment!"
Lord. What was the? Oh, sorry. Continue.
What was, I think, the next,
Oh, we stole a
Day.
traffic cone too, but
Yeah,
I
we stole a
mean,
traffic
I
cone
mean,
too.
I mean, we found a traffic cone that was previously owned by Carlie, and we re-obtained it.
Mhm.
No illegal actions were made.
I think the next day I decided to text you and asked you if you wanted to watch a movie. Because I got your snap somehow.
She made the move.
I made all the moves for so long. That's the funny part of the
And-
story.
And we're getting there. So I was like, hey, do you want to watch a movie? I can't even remember what movie we watched.
I do.
It was that,
A Knight's Tale.
yep, that's what it was. The one, was it Heath Ledger that was in it? That's why I remember it. And yeah, it was weird, awkward. You tried to pull a move and I laughed at you.
I did this. I did this. Literally, not even like a strip. I just went, put my arm around her, and she goes, and I
I
went,
giggled. I was, the second I giggled, I was like, this man is going to hate me for
I
all
called it out
eternity for
immediately.
embarrassing
I was like, okay.
him.
I was like, it's fine. I like being laughed at.
I was like, I
anyways.
just destroyed his ego.
But the best part of the story,
It worked out.
So you do it.
that Carlie was getting to is, that was the first time she remembers meeting. She came to the BCM when I was the BCM representative guy.
When you were living there, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was technically supposed to like represent the BCM around.
Representative sounds like very fancy and formal.
Ben's
You were
room
just
was
He
living-
such a
technically
mess.
was. He technically was.
But I went around and was supposed to like greet people who were new. Carlie walked in. I was like, oh, she looks like a mean person. And then listen.
It's called a RBF.
And then I was like, I'm going to hit on this girl. The whole time she's here, I instantly went over, played pool with her. Pulled the whole little pool move where I was like, oh yeah, I'll teach you how to play everything. Everything. I put in effort. I talked to her all night, flirted all night. She has no recollection of it. Doesn't remember it. Doesn't even remember us hanging out.
Wow.
And then we hung out again with Kyle. No memory of that. So basically, guys,
I went to his apartment back when Caitlin
she'd been in my
was
apartment,
like,
didn't
Kyle was trying to
remember me.
like go out with Caitlin. Like, you remember that night when we followed them after the BCM? Apparently, Ben was with us the whole night. Can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember
guys,
Kyle. I remember
I rem-
Caitlin. I remember Elijah. Don't
there
remember
was a
Ben.
serious point there where I was like, this girl gotta be a lesbian. There's no way that a straight girl is resisting all my charm.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, there's no way. It turned out she's just like,
Let me give you the reasons. So, I have learned
this has become the whole podcast.
that
Yeah. It's just y'all's.
I cannot pick up on social cues to save my life.
Oh. Yeah.
Also, very socially awkward, as you can tell.
I was like flirting with a wall, basically.
Yeah, just non-responsive.
It's going great now, though.
Also, yeah, it's going great. Then I was also at a really like bad time to where like I was just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to get through school and go home.
Mm-hmm.
And so tried dating, failed miserably. I was like, yep, I'm done. And so another reason why apparently I didn't pick up the signals that Ben was, I wasn't catching what he was throwing.
Yeah, you didn't smell what he was stepping in.
How long have you guys dated now?
Just over a year.
Yeah, we just had a year.
Dang,
Well,
nice big milestone, huh?
It's not 3 years, but
It's actually like 3.5 years.
It's six times longer than any of my other relationships.
Yeah.
That's an
dang.
Hey, we,
accomplishment.
whenever me, Caleb, Kyle, and who was Michael, we said we were gonna have to put Ben's next girlfriend. I think it was after Coralie, to put him through the council. They were.
It was after Bailey.
He told me about
yeah, it's
that.
after Bailey, and we were.
He
I was
told me
like,
about
we gotta
that.
meet with the council before we leave for summer, and it never happened.
Ben
Our,
told me.
our goal was to take his prospective girlfriend to B-Dubs, and we were going to
Grill her.
grill her.
He
and,
told
like,
me about the council, and I was just like,
and it never happened.
okay, I'm ready, I guess.
That was terrible.
Like,
I was so sad.
He
it never
prepared you
happened.
for it?
Yeah, I literally told
No,
her. I
he
was
was-
like, you got to go meet my Bible study group.
yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm more worried about meeting your family, but all right.
That was fun.
I think you wanted me to meet the council before I met your parents.
it was their first line of defense.
Yeah.
They were supposed to protect me from all my bad decision making that I've been making.
Like the one old girl.
You leave my past alone.
Okay. Okay, so that ate up a lot of time. That was a good,
Sorry.
it was good. It's good story time. I wanted to share a story of the first time I went and had dinner with Lydia's family. So there was something that happened, and like, you were like, no, you need to meet my family first. What was that? Do you remember that?
I think my mom said, like,
Oh my gosh, it was the meme. The cat meme.
you're gonna tell all
No, I'm
of our
not gonna
cat
tell the
memes?
cat meme. Anyways, that was horrible.
Maybe you, like,
What was
invited
the
me to
cat meme?
dinner or something, and my mom was like, I think he needs to come to dinner with us, and, like, so we can meet him. I think that's what happened.
Go, Mom.
Well, yeah, yeah, okay.
Well, it was gonna be a bonfire, and maybe it rained.
It was?
I think so. Or maybe
Oh.
we had a bonfire afterward.
Ben, we
It was
should
a
have had a
while ago.
bonfire. For
Anyways,
me meeting your
well,
family.
there was like, I don't even know, it was like hamburgers and like,
Potato set. Oh, potato casserole. That
Potato
was what it
casserole,
was.
Oh, like
yes.
a cookout.
and
Yeah.
her brother. Oh my gosh. I was like, what is this kid doing? So like what he did, you're getting shout out to Luke Lee, right, Ben?
Yeah, the legend himself.
We got a
legend
lot of
in the
little
flesh.
siblings.
So he like got his cheeseburger and then like piled it up. I don't know, like, does that look about right? That's like probably a foot tall.
Probably.
It was like insane. I was like, I was like looking at his parents. I was like, they're gonna let him just do that? And then he just like chows down on it and he gets it all over his face and everything. And I'm like,
He was putting on a show.
yeah, I was like, what
It
is
was
this?
the test.
Yeah, I was like, what is this kid
He's
doing?
asserting dominance, Sean.
And anyways, I was like a little low key freaked out about that. I was like, what the heck? And
He was like, my family's weird.
yeah, I was gonna like, what the heck? But anyways, we got past that. Now me and Luke are pretty cool. He invited me to play Magic last night, and I was like, nah. Play Magic and eat frozen pizza. That's not.
Wait, what?
Yeah, now like
Magic?
random high
Magic?
school boys just like come in the back door of my house. I'm like, oh, hello. Didn't know
like-
you were coming.
Like Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Oh.
Do you know that game?
Dude, I
Ben
know
knows that game. I don't
All
know
my
that game.
coworkers used to play it on their lunch break.
This is yet another thing for you and Luke Lee to bond over.
I could kick his butt.
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't even
He
like
was,
playing
like,
that
like
game.
$100
I played tournament
cards.
players because my whole shift that I worked with were all tournament guys.
Ben, you didn't
And so
even
they
like
taught me
playing
how to
that
play.
game.
Luke Lee, if you listen to this, you need
This is
to.
a call out. I don't even like this game. I'll kick your butt just to prove that I can.
His coworkers literally gave him his
I don't even-
cards
I
that
don't
he
even
had
care.
because he didn't have it. He was like, I don't want to play. And they're like, here.
We can't have two separate conversations either going though.
I don't care.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't care if you think you can beat me.
You can't.
You can't. I'm like the Mike Tyson of random card games.
You're the Jake Paul of Magic the Gathering. He's the Mike Tyson.
Well, Mike Tyson's gonna lose, so
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, do we have anything else we want to talk about, Ben? Anything else at all?
So there's this thing that Sean really wants to talk about for some reason. I think it's because he's like a crazy person.
Crazy James White fan, no. kidding.
He has these 5 points that he wants to talk about, and I'll just let him go with it because
gosh.
I don't want to like destroy his whole.
So I
existence.
don't know. What else are we going to talk about, Ben?
I don't know, dude. Let's go.
Okay.
let's run it.
So, girls.
Boys.
Carlie, I don't know your experience, so I want to have Lydia share first.
Okay.
Your journey
Ugh.
to Calvinism.
True
Indoctrination.
Calvinism.
Your indoctrination.
Wow.
I had a feeling this was going to come up.
I think it all began with me being in the cage stage of Calvinism, right?
Can you explain what the cage stage is?
Where that's all I want to talk about.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I'm an evangelist for Calvinism at that point.
That is what it was.
That was bad.
We kind of low key
Like
roasted it.
gospel of Jesus Christ, and then if you're a Christian, then you're going to be a Calvinist in my mind.
I remember you started telling me about that time I went to your permit.
That was just like a casual.
That was
You were like,
casual.
okay,
I didn't know what it
You
was.
were like the 5 points of Calvinism. They are. It's just
Total depravity,
What's
unconditional.
your thought on pedo baptism? Me not even knowing what that was at the
So
time. You did ask me.
You said you were a Methodist though, so that's why I was like, oh, so you believe in pedo baptism? So I was like, well, what do you think? And then you were like, I don't know.
Just
Good
because I
question.
say I'm Methodist doesn't mean I've I know what the doctrine is.
So Ben, so this is, I think you can agree with me. This is something the Methodists are really bad at, right? Is discipleship.
I never said I'm still Methodist.
So, no, I'm not. No, you grew up Methodist, though, right?
I grew up Methodist. Yeah.
So I'm saying that, like,
He's
didn't
not
know-
insulting you.
I didn't know anything.
I'm insulting the whole denomination.
I never
okay?
knew anything else.
So
really.
they're really good at making beautiful churches, at singing beautiful hymns, right? Like Charles Wesley.
Even if we can't sing.
He's a great hymn writer, one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Him and Isaac Watts are just goated. But they're really good at making beautiful churches, singing beautiful songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're really bad at discipleship. They're really bad at teaching good theology as well.
That's why I said they're really bad at theology.
Yeah, we can both agree on that.
That's why you didn't know anything whenever I asked you about fetal baptism, because they don't really disciple well. But
I feel like
as a general, there's obviously are going to be churches that are like exceptions to the rules. But continue.
I also I feel like there's going to be like some of your listeners that are just like, she's Methodist and she didn't even know what he's talking about. So the thing with my church is that it's so small. Like
the Methodist one in Calumet.
Yes. Yeah. There's Red Rock United Methodist and then there's Calumet United Methodist. The thing is those church congregations are so small that we actually share a preacher. Not a lot of churches do that. So literally Calumet
Why don't y'all just
UMC has, because there's people that live in Calumet that don't want to go all the way to Red Rock out by 66.
Okay.
It's just a distance thing. But so we share a preacher. Calumet has their service first, then Red Rock. We have like a afternoon service. And so the thing with that is we also, I can't exactly remember what it's called, but we cycle in our preachers. So over the time that I've been at Red Rock, I've had 3 different preachers. 4, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Because Matthew was there a couple months and then left like right as I got there. And Ben's a little sensitive about this sometimes, but 2 of them were women.
Mm-hmm.
Not sensitive?
I know that's like sometimes a big no-no for some people. But
For the Bible?
Yeah,
the Bible and Christians, it's a no-no.
But again, I didn't know I didn't know any better. I didn't read about it.
Yeah. Well, that's just because Methodists are bad at discipleship.
And so like when it came to theology and stuff like that, I didn't know I really, like, I thought that was just a scholar thing. I didn't think I had the ability at 15, 16 years old to research and have the time to learn all about this stuff and say like, no, you're wrong. Because again, Red Rock, there's maybe 30 people at best in that congregation every Sunday. Mm-hmm. We do a head count every Sunday.
Yeah.
And other than when my old PE teacher's kids show up, me and Kenley, like everybody else is my parents' age or older. Yeah. So there's not really much I can say
Bustling
as a 20-year-old.
The youth group is like thriving.
It's almost as big as Ben's graduating class.
Guys, I was basically the star athlete and valedictorian in my school.
He was the ideal, like,
I was top
All-American dream boy.
Yeah, I was the best in his school.
Their Cows Kids is doing pretty good, but their youth group, I don't know.
So if you guys are saying that Methodists have done a bad job at discipling youth, then what is that supposed to look like?
Discipling youth?
Or just discipleship in general?
Well, like from a pastoral sense, it's in the preaching is the main channel with which your discipleship comes.
Yes. Matthew Weaver, one of my favorite guys for this, said that in your sermons, a good preacher equips in his sermon the apologetics and scripture verses to allow his congregation to not only support but effectively study what he preaches so that they have built-in defense to what he's teaching. Yeah. Because he said if you're sending people out into the world, he said you're creating, evangelists, essentially. Yes. If you're sending people out into the world and what you've taught them isn't effective in spreading the gospel, and if you're not equipping them effectively, then you're failing as a preacher.
Yeah. And
well, I mean, like this is like the main way, like one of the main ways that Jesus taught, right? This was like, I think a third of his ministry was preaching. Like, and this is part of how he discipled and taught his disciples, right? And he also had more like interpersonal, close like community, like
interpersonal.
Yeah, like, but it was a lot of times through preaching, like Sermon on the Mount, like those kinds of things, right? Teaching through parables, right? Like this is the main way that your congregation is to be discipled, is through the preaching of the word, and preaching of the word being expositionally, like working with the text in the context, right? Studying it, diving deep into original languages, right? Like our goal as preachers is to understand, like for example, we're going through the book of John. So our goal is to understand what John was trying to communicate whenever he sent that letter to wherever he sent it. I don't think he addresses it to anybody, but we're trying to figure out what John was trying to get at when he sent that letter. We're not trying to figure out what this means to us as preachers. We're trying to figure out what John meant, what God was trying to communicate to these people through John. So, what is it? I think Sproul says that there's one faithful interpretation for Scripture, but there's like an infinite number of applications you can make from those interpretations. So,
Yeah.
for me, that means fitting postmillennialism into all my sermons. I'm just kidding, guys, but I did do that, except for this last sermon, because I'm a cage stage postmillennialist right now. So, anyway, so that's what faithful discipleship primarily looks like. It also looks like on the other level, like personally, like meeting with somebody on a regular basis and like teaching them theology, sitting them down, like, okay, this is what it looks like to study the word.
Iron sharpens iron. Debating, and that's what sucks for you is since your church didn't have many people your age, you never really had the chance to have the things you were struggling with. The rest of the congregation did 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So having people your age that you can go through stuff with and talk things out with, that was what was so nice about the BCM.
Yes.
It's like having you and Kyle and everybody and going, hey, like check this out.
Having in our Calvinism debates, having Caleb like coach me after we got done with that.
Yeah, and then Kyle was just like,
I was just there.
Kyle was just like, afterwards he'd come talk to me and he'd be like, I've never told you this, but Kyle would be like, I think you're right. And I'd be like, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So it was a house divided.
It was a house.
Michael was the split. We need to figure out what Michael thinks.
He's the deciding factor. He's going to be like, I'm Catholic.
He's gonna say I'm a Molinist. I'm not Arminian or Calvinist.
They just school us with like top tier theology.
Bro, that would be insane if Michael just.
I would
like,
love
put
that. Honestly, I would high five him.
He just like convinces us both of them all. Bro, that'd be insane.
We have so much time to keep talking about Calvinism.
This Methodist,
Oh,
these
wow.
Methodists.
Well,
Full 7 minutes.
Not having a young adult group was definitely weird, especially after like getting out of high school, because that's usually like the cutoff. Like once you graduate, you're just like, all right, you're a young adult now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and so shout out to some of my friends that don't even listen to this, but
Well, you should put him on this.
I was during like church camp and all that stuff. Of course, we went to UMC church camp, and one of the 3 big churches that went with us were Mustang, and then it was St. Anthony's out in Moore, a lot of Moore, South Moore, West Moore kids, and then it was Acts 2 up in Edmond, which is where I was thinking about going once I go to Edmond, because I was like, yeah, I know people there from church camp. I'll figure it out. But St. Andy's was kind of specifically just the guys. My sister made friends with all of them. And then later down the road, like when we hit high school years, I became friends with all of them. And so when we hit young adult, that's literally where we went. Couldn't make it every week because that's a drive.
Yeah.
But we ended up going there. And so that was really like our young adult youth group. And I ended up, one of my good friends, Johnny, he was preacher's kid. And so I'd always be like, what'd your dad preach about this Sunday? And like they have a YouTube channel and I still watch it every now and then. But then sadly, the disaffiliation happened. That was not fun.
With the United Methodists.
Yeah.
That's for the
It
better,
was
probably.
ugly.
Yeah.
That was for the best.
Yeah, the United Methodists are very liberal now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Don't hate on Red Rock and Calumet because we can't disaffiliate because we are too small.
Yeah, they can't afford it.
We can't.
Oh,
we
wow.
literally,
They
we would
want
not
to.
have a church. We
Yeah.
want to because obviously a lot of older people in my church don't agree with that. I don't agree with it either.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that we financially cannot afford to disaffiliate. And that's why like St. Anthony's, they're Global Methodist now. Because they're
Global Methodists. Is
Yeah.
that another?
Yeah.
that's what they call themselves now after the disaffiliation.
Okay.
Because they did vote to leave.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of congregation members, but
I mean, it's like that's kind of what happens, but it's worth being faithful.
yeah. But
Like part of that is learning how to trust in God and that He will bring the necessary people to continue that church.
yeah.
You know,
And,
but that can be hard to realize.
and I was gonna say earlier, from experience, the cycling preacher thing, not a fan.
Yeah.
Ever since I went, Ben got me to start going to Houston, which now I'm leaning more towards non-denominational because I'm just like, yeah, I kind of see how this works better.
That is just Baptist.
That
Okay.
W's in the relationship.
You saying dubs in the chat?
Dubs in the chat, bro.
But I like the whole one preacher
Yeah.
because Justin's
That's part of
been.
discipleship.
Hey guys, you know something you probably shouldn't do if you're elders in a church someday? Kick out the pastor you've had for 12 years, who's like a really solid dude and like actually has done nothing biblically.
He's a good preacher.
I know. I will straight up. That made me so mad. As much as I
We know.
want to say, guys, that like the elders should have the right to. I kind of think that there should be some debate with the congregation. Just saying, if you're ever an elder and you want to just kick a pastor out.
But now y'all are at the
Maybe talk
gathering
to
and
your-
y'all are doing great.
Sort of. Not very well. We have no elders.
You have one elder.
Your dad can't be an elder yet.
My dad was requested to be an elder 3 times now, and he said no all the 3 times.
Does he say he's unqualified or
Yeah.
what makes him unqualified?
All the kids he still has at his house.
He's got heathen children.
No,
Oh, okay. Yeah. That does
you're
disqualify
his
you.
kid.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into it.
Yeah. Anyways, that just so you know, that is a qualification. Is your children should be obedient to you, and they shouldn't be running around as heathens. So that does disqualify you as an elder. But anywho, I think
Is that
then
in Titus? Is that where you find that scripture?
First Timothy.
First Timothy.
Yeah, First Timothy is where you find that. Yeah, I think it's about time to start wrapping up then.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, Lydia, hit our recap. I'm just kidding. No, we'll recap for you.
Okay.
Hold on. Actually, let's get. Do y'all have final thoughts for us before we just take it away from y'all?
I got nothing.
I feel like I've been talking more than Lydia and I feel bad.
Fine.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's fun. Thanks for having us on.
We're
There you go.
gonna have you guys on again. Except for we're gonna
Closer.
they can hear me. I've been watching it whenever you switch to the other page. We're gonna have you guys on again. Except for I think we're gonna tackle the old covenant versus the new covenant, how people mix them up.
Okay, that's gonna be.
That's gonna be rough.
That came up a lot in y'all's last episode.
It's because it's present in everything.
The covenant is
This
present in everything. Yes.
Head coverings.
No,
We will have a podcast.
Oh,
We will
goodness.
cover that.
we will,
Women.
and we will cover your head.
Remind
Yeah, we will cover your heads if you're going to be part of this.
me to read those bits of the Bible. We're going to start talking about that episode so I know what's
Don't
going
worry
on.
about it.
First Corinthians, I believe it's 11.
We're supposed to read 1 Corinthians.
Yes, we are.
Just get to First Corinthians 11 and
Listen,
Dog
guys.
on.
Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have them on again, maybe for our next podcast or down the road or something. Now that they're comfortable, and we're gonna make them do all the research, and me and John are just gonna sit back and ask questions.
yeah.
I don't know about comfortable. I don't know if that's the right word.
You did really good.
You guys did great.
Yeah,
I've been rambling.
Y'all did great. That's part of what. That's kind of like half of what podcast is.
Yeah,
Just
honestly.
rambling. But like, we appreciate both of y'all for coming on. Thank you for giving us the time of day. All right, Ben.
We did
Let's
work. Give
okay,
it
recap.
Let's recap.
What did we learn from this? One, really, guys, don't be put down if the girl you're interested in things go poorly on the first date, or they don't remember you,
Even if they say no,
or even if they don't remember you.
persistence is key. Don't be weird.
Don't be weird with it. But
On that line.
what really helps is if you're like really smart, attractive, and like kind of
You're like me and Ben.
yeah, you're like me and Sean. We're just built different. And so the recap is really be more like us.
Wow. So
Dang, I really thought y'all were complimenting us for a second. And then I was like, nah, that's not how it usually
if
goes.
you're a woman, just be long suffering.
this has turned into the Ben brag about Sean and Sean brag about Ben
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the best way to support us is to leave us a 5-star review if you're on Apple Podcasts, and well, they'll make you type out a review. So please leave us a good review, and if you don't think we're doing good, then just email us. You don't have to leave a review. Just email us and tell us how we can be better. Okay, we'll hear you out. We'll email you back, and we'll improve.
And we won't name drop you on the podcast unless you're Bryson or Tanner View
or related to Ben, or you've been on the podcast. There's okay. We probably won't out you, but okay. Another way you can support us.
Keep yourself anonymous.
Another way you can support us is how, Ben?
By sending us money. Now, hear me out. Negotiation time here. As we save up, we want to get cameras so we can be on YouTube. Imagine how blessed you would be and how much better your week would be if Monday morning you woke up and you got to watch, not listen to, but watch me and Sean. Sean gets fiery sometimes and he starts like spasming a little bit.
Banging on the table.
Yeah. And it's pretty fun to watch.
You don't get to see that.
And you're going to get to see our sign and our plants.
Our plants. That's what it's really all about, is about the plant.
We're going to have a plant, guys. And I don't think you understand how legit this is. I'll get some of those studio lights if you guys want them. I'll put up some of those studio lights on the back wall so you can see them, and they'll never even be on.
We'll just focus them on, like the whole videoing is actually just going to focus on the plant. That's what we're actually getting at. Like, you're not going to see any of us.
We'll spray water on it and have a fan blow on it every once in a while.
Yeah,
For all the aesthetic girls out there.
Yes, it will be riveting. Absolutely riveting.
Also, if any of you women are just like wondering how these two girls pulled me and Sean, it's a good question. If you figure out, let us know.
Okay, you can send us money if you would like to. You can just send us money, or if you have a business and you want if you want them to support us, then email us and we'll figure out how to read an ad for you, and you can sponsor us. Just like Jason Baker does, who is with Downtown Realty Group. He's your Christian Oklahoma realtor. And if you're in the market to buy a house or list a house, then call him up at 405-313-6700. Thank you, Jason.
Sounds like a righteous transaction to me.
It is. Okay. Well, if you want to merit more favor from God, then give us money. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. We're not.
Give tithing, send 10% to us.
No, do not do that, guys. Give your 10% to the church. But, well, guys, we appreciate y'all listening to the podcast, and girlfriends, again, we appreciate y'all coming on.
Thank you for coming on.
So, well, guys, you enjoy good coffee and study the ways of Christ. Until the next time, bye-bye.